and the shadow and the judge. That's a whole story in itself. And it was just going there because I used to say I wanted to be a judge. Like I had to come up with different stuff. I knew I probably wasn't gonna go to law school and do all of that, but I had different stuff. Yeah.
I want to grow up opping.
But that was something that I liked, and it seemed like but after I went in there, I followed him all day. We was behind the scenes, go out together. I'll go sit back there and watch him do what he do. Yep. And that dude sentenced somebody to 45 to life when I'm sitting right there. The dude get to arguing. They had to escort him out the courtroom and do all of that. And like right then I knew I better get serious about this basketball.
You gotta get you serious. Here's somebody 45 to life.
Today we are joined by a guy that I feel should be on more people's radar, both for his play and energy, but also for his work ethic and his story. He's one of the Golden State Warriors first-round picks of 2021 and is only getting started. Check out my man, Moses Moody.
We're joined by a guy who was made famous because his Southern counterparts' slaughtering of his name. Right?
Yeah, he definitely did that.
So here, my teammate, one of my my young boys, Moses Moody. And I guess to start it off, we kind of been starting off like this, especially when we're in person. This is not a literal question, but more of, you could have done a lot of different things in your life. You're smart, you're talented. Tell us how you got here in this seat today.
Yeah, I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas. So growing up, it was always me and my homeboys, me and my brothers, my brother and my cousins, real family oriented. So we kind of just went with the flow, did what it did as it go. And basketball was always there. That was always the thing. My pops played, my brother played. I played football a little bit when I was younger, but I've always been around basketball. So I just kept doing that and got pretty good at it, and then it take me where it did.
And now you're second year of the Warriors. Who's your favorite teammate? How about I just throw a wrench in it?
My favorite teammate. Yeah, it really just depends on the day, man. It's a lot of different people, but I go with Toon.
Toon, that's a good one. That's a good one. Looney.
Yeah.
Looney. I thought you said Toon. I'm like, Toon.
We call him Toon. We call him Toon.
Yeah, Looney Toon.
Okay. Looney Toon.
Okay, that's hard. That's legit. Yeah, now everybody says Looney. Dre always says Looney's the best teammate as well.
Yeah, he is. Just through conversation. We was talking to somebody the other day, and he kind of explained the way Loon operate, like saying like if he got a lot of game, he can help, he can do a lot of stuff, but he always gonna pay attention. And if you want the help, he willing to give it to you. But if you don't, then it's like, all right, I ain't gonna force you, bro. I ain't gonna.
Now that's real. When you first walked into an NBA locker room, you walked in as, 18, 19-year-old kid. Was that something you worried about? How you're going to interact with the older players and who you were going to, who you were going to learn from? Because you had a lot of superstars, and obviously that's a gift and a curse if you're nervous about, going into a locker room and an environment and, the standard they set.
Yeah, I feel like the superstar thing was more different than the older guys and all that because I've been around a lot of older people, my family and everything, so I'm used to being in that scenario, in that situation. But the celebrity thing is real, and you can try to act cool, act hard, like yeah, I'm used to this, I've been here, but reality is I haven't.
So sticking to that, what was one of the more? Have you been starstruck since you've been in the league, or what was one of the things where that kind of threw you off, where it was the first time like, whoa, this is a moment in terms of like the celebrity of it all, or something that I've never seen before?
Yeah, honestly, my first year, it was so many different and new environments, new things and crazy things that would blow my mind 2 years ago. But it got to where it was so much, I just like got numb to it.
Oh, okay.
Just everything, I know some crazy stuff about to happen tomorrow, so I ain't even shocked when it do.
Right. Let's talk about, because most people know you about basketball, and there's just one story I want to get to, but let's take it back to something you were similar to me, and maybe ET too, in terms of we knew basketball was what we wanted to do, but we kind of had to hide it. We talk about that all the time, which is strange. And it's like, you know, when you look at other ethnicities, other races, when they say they want to be an engineer, a lawyer, or doctor, they're just so proud when they say it.
Mm-hmm.
But for us, when we, you know, I read what you said, you know, I always wanted to go to the NBA, but I had to throw out a few other things. I didn't want to let too many people know that was my goal because, you know, that's every black boy's dream and you don't want to get stereotyped. And that's mind boggling to me that we have to think that way. But, you know, going back, you know, when did you realize that basketball was it? And, you know, who helped you see the goal, see the vision, and who did you look up to kind of model yourself as to kind of help you see the journey to get to the league?
Yeah, that's a good question. And it was real. It's real. Like when you in the 3rd grade and the teacher asked everybody what y'all want to do when you grow up, and you in a class with this like mixed class and all that, and every black boy in the classroom say NBA or NFL. Yep. You feel a certain way, and at that point, I would just throw something out, like you said, just to mix it up, just to change something. On Halloween, you know, everybody come to the school for the Halloween party. Everybody got their football pads on or their basketball jersey. Yep. I was too, but as we got older, like that's cool, you know, when you're young, imagine, you know, you can be anything, and that's your mindset. But when you get older, and now y'all in high school, 10th, 11th grade. And the same dude saying they going to NFL, but they ain't even make the high school team. And but it's just like that's a crutch that everybody use because you need to have an answer to that question.
Right. Yeah.
And if you don't say NBA or NFL, then you have to think and you have to really come up with a plan, and that's kind of intimidating to do. So I feel like for me, even though that it was a realistic thing, it was possible. I know that's what I'm planning on doing. I'm gonna work for it, but I don't got to tell y'all my dreams because I'm gonna figure it out. But your question more so was, who was it that got me to doing it, got me locked in and knowing I could do that. And I would get that to my dad and my mom, but mainly my dad in that space, just because just that constant voice, just that always willing to work out, just a lot of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny you say that because I remember having to come up with different like professions I wanted to be. I remember for like a few years in 8th grade and like all through middle school, I was telling people I wanted to be a veterinarian. And like when you look back on it, I'm like, bro, I was so capped. Like, what the fuck?
It sounds good, though.
Fucking veterinarian. Like, you understand what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, I'm walking around here telling people I'm finna be a veterinarian. Ain't got an animal in sight, no nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's always good to be who you are, else you look like an idiot.
It's funny, ET, we always say people from the South, they're born 30, 40 years old. And it's funny because the mindset, you know, just hearing Steph talking about you or hearing Steph talk about Moses, he's like, it's incredible to see this kid's work ethic. You know, we forgot he was a rookie. Mm-hmm. We spent all our time on JK goofy ass and we forget because Moses was just, you know, he's wiser beyond his years, and that shouldn't be taken the wrong way because JK speaks 9 languages, but this is a different type of, you know, different people, different personalities. But he got that old Southern soul where like he knows exactly what he wants to do every single day. Like he plans out his weeks, or that's what it seems like. And so kind of take me through through that process, like how you've become so mature and professional and how you approach the game of basketball. Even your college coach spoke about it too, Musselman, who played in the league. He spoke about, he said you were a 10 out of 10 as a freshman, which is crazy because I know both our coaches when we were freshmen wanted to kill us. Like I was always messing around, and you told me stories about your freshman year of college, but you know, I know you spoke about your father, but when did it click in terms of your mindset and your focus?
I would say the main thing I could dedicate that mindset too is just paying attention. Mm-hmm. Like always growing up as a kid, seeing other people's mistakes. Like I said, I got a lot of old heads in my family, old heads around the city. I say that now, like my city raised me, everybody. Mm-hmm. And that comes from being in different environments and paying attention, because just because you're there don't mean you learn nothing. Don't mean you soaked in the game.
Yep.
And that's obviously literally paying attention when somebody's talking to you, but looking at the way people move. Like I'm telling my homeboys, like, yeah, y'all come to the interview, because you know what opportunity do you get to be behind stage at a podcast that you see on on this and that. So that's a new experience. So just paying attention to different lessons that come up in life.
Yep.
I seen something where you're discussing, obviously we're big fans of him, but Joe, ISO Joe, he's low key like the king of Arkansas.
Yes,
Talk about like him being from the city, him doing what he did. Did that open up your eyes to be able to do it? Because I know for sure James Anderson, remember the All-American from back in the day, he played in the league. He always referenced Joe, Joe Johnson, and the example he set as well.
Yeah. Joe was that dude for me growing up. I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas. He from Little Rock. And being from Little Rock is you don't see a lot of people doing this and that. So for him to do it the way he was doing it at that time, we was able to see that and see it. And it was actually tangible because he wasn't away. He came back to the city. He played in Dunbar League. He put on a 3-on-3 tournament in downtown in the parking lot. Everybody going through. So he just did stuff like that. So he got the blueprint and he kind of laid it out the way that I want to do it.
Oh, that's dope.
I'm gonna take a detour. I want to get to Montverde because a lot of folks outside the basketball world don't understand kind of how high school basketball works in different schools and different things like that. Y'all had 7 dudes on your high school team go to the league, which is unheard of. But I want to pivot away from basketball for a second in terms of your experience as an actor.
Oh, wow.
And you played a role that Denzel Washington played. You were his character from Fences. And how that led to you like not an internship, but you shadowed a judge. And just give me a whole rundown of that experience, because that in itself is incredible. And I think all students, even athletes, should experience something outside of basketball, something different. It's like E.T. should have went to go shadow a veterinarian, right?
Yeah,
but kind of give me like how that, well, how did that come about? Yeah. And I think that's super dope. And I think that's a story that we appreciate if you would share with us.
Yeah. I see you do your homework, man. That's cool. But yeah, so the Fences thing, I was into when I went to high school. I was in the drama side of the school, so we had to have different performances and stuff like that. And that was it was a dialogue when it's 2 people, we was going back and forth. But it was cool. I had a lot of fun with it. I didn't think I would like it.
Right.
But after we getting up there doing it, learning my lines and going through that whole process, it was real cool. And I might even want to venture back into something like that one day.
Right.
I see you doing your acting thing now too.
Yeah. I did the Abbott Elementary.
Yeah. But like that and the shadow and the judge, that's a whole story in itself. And it was just going there because I used to say I wanted to be a judge. Like I had to come up with different stuff. I knew I probably wasn't gonna go to law school and do all of that, but I had different stuff. Yeah.
But I want to grow up opping.
That's silly, G. That's silly.
But that was something that I liked, and it seemed like but after I went in there, I followed them all day. We was behind the scenes, go out together. I'll go sit back there and watch him do what he do. Yeah. And that dude sending somebody to 45 to life when I'm sitting right there. The dude get to arguing. They had to escort him out the courtroom and do all of that. And like right then I knew I better get serious about this basketball.
Gotta get you serious. Here's somebody 45 to life.
And for you to have to carry out the sentence and do all stuff like that, like that's hard to.
And how old were you? 13, 14?
Yeah, I was young. I was pretty young. Maybe middle school. Maybe early high school. But like I said earlier, though, that's all the same thing about getting in those different environments. Yeah. So you can, when you pay attention, you learn a new intel, and now you know a little bit about different things.
That's dope. That's dope because acting for school in the drama club led to him shadowing the judge, and you see somebody get sentenced to 45 years to life.
That's crazy, yo. So, what was your acting style? Like, who were you like? Were you like a Michael B. Jordan? Were you like Jamie Foxx? Like Will Smith? Like, or just a background dude? Like, what was your level?
To be honest, it really didn't get far enough for me to really have a character, have all of that, because it was really just I didn't get in none of the plays and none of that in front of the school and none of that. That was like a class thing, and we had to do it. So I was forced to do it and forced to have fun and like it. But I was playing Denzel, so I was doing my best impression that I could.
Crazy. So now that's funny. So to bring up, you kind of already answered prior to, but we have this thing called Guns and Butter on our show. And a lot of people think of the macroeconomic principle, but it's actually a scene from the movie Baby Boy.
Yeah.
And he's talking about the difference between guns and butter and the small decisions that you made now that turn out to be big decisions in the past. Besides the judge situation where you went to school and decided to focus on it, what else is something else that really inspired you to lock in and kind of go left instead of right?
I was listening to somebody the other day, and it was actually Simba, the rapper. He said,
Okay. Yeah.
Oakland.
He said,
Bay Area.
Yeah, he said, I'm a long way from where I'm gonna be, but a long way from where I could have been.
Yep.
Something like that. Something along the lines of that. But really, growing up, I got a big family. I got a lot of family. We in the South. A lot of people don't got the income, and so you in the bottom of the South in that scenario. So you get a lot of non-examples, not just family, just people around, and just being in that environment. Everybody's telling you, you do what you need to do. You need to do what you're gonna do, so you don't end up like me. Or I can tell you, I messed up here, and then you can learn from this mistake. And given that I got a big family, I got a lot of younger little cousins and everything to look up to me. Mm-hmm. So that was always my thing. Like when I'm putting my cousins on, when I'm teaching people, I want to be able to tell you, all right, do what I did. Right. Not don't do what I did.
Right.
And just give them a new perspective, because so many people just have those non-examples. So that was probably the biggest thing. Watching, my uncles maybe get locked up, or watching some friends go the wrong way, and how that go. And it's just so many different examples of seeing people make one small mistake and change where you are, but you made that mistake because you're too close to the fire. Yeah. Get all the way over here, and then that little mistake might not burn you. So that's probably the best answer I got for that.
So is that's what gave you confidence to head to Montverde for your last year of high school? You felt like you had to get out of the environment to elevate, even though that environment you're arguably on one of the best high school teams ever, right?
Yeah.
That's hell to tell the captain if you're trying to make it to the league. So that speaks a lot about your competition level. What was that like every single day, just going up against some future NBA stars, but really looking back and being like, holy shit, we actually made it.
Yeah, and it's that now, but it wasn't that when we first got there. It was just a bunch of dudes out here hooping.
It's true.
But when I first made the decision to go, it wasn't necessarily saying like I got to get out the hood, I got to get out this and that, get that scenario, because my people's back home. It was a good situation. Right. We, my homeboys, everything was straight. But I do feel like it was a positive to make that move. And being there, when I first went there, that's when your boy Precious. It was me, Cade, Precious, Omar, Bush, that whole team. And that's not the one that everybody talks about. It was a really good team. We didn't win the Nationals and all that. So I'll skip ahead to the one I know everybody want to talk about, the senior year with I could run through the list and all the accolades, but it was that every day. Like you can tell that you in a different place right now in practice, because we going at it. We would have the starting lineup in the second group. That was a thing. Like, right. It wasn't we switch up. You get him this day. Nah, like you got your team and we go at it. Yeah. They won games. We won games. And even the players that's all in the NBA, we graduated, and then they won the national championship the next year. So we was all in there together, and it was that environment every day. And that's probably the closest I've ever been to a team, just because we live together. We in dorms. We fight. We wrestle. I probably fought every player on that team. That's what we like to do. We played around, and it was cool. It's just that environment.
That's dope to me, because where we come from, it really wasn't any like real prep schools like that.
Not in the Midwest, at least.
Yeah, not in the Midwest, really. And just seeing so many talented players, I think it's built a competition in you. But from a confidence perspective, do you think it raised your confidence? Because some guys aren't built for that environment. It might knock a guy's confidence off. So what do you think it was about that environment that helped you level up your game?
It's that sink or swim mentality. And, so many times you got to experience that in the NBA, and and in life outside of basketball. So that's gonna be the theme of the whole thing, I guess. But paying attention, like you've been through that environment, so now when I'm in that environment, I can revert back to what I learned there. Mm-hmm. But it's just that mentality, you know. What he say on Paid in Full, man? I just love to hustle.
Yeah.
So when it get down to it, it's just that, to where just competition and being back against the wall, and I got to figure it out, and I gotta. You know, I came in with a fractured foot, so I'm working from behind and all of that. So just being in that dog-eat-dog type of gritty space, I'm comfortable there now, because that's something that we went through every day. Because I'm gonna tell you that when we was there, Coach Boyle is crazy.
Yeah, I always heard that. I always heard he was the craziest dude on earth, bro.
We playing against IMG at 6:00. We got shoot around at 12, and we in here playing full court 1-on-1. And Coach Boy, and so given that he just enjoyed, he loved to hustle.
Right.
He loved to be in there, watch us going at it. So that was just that environment, and it obviously created some really nice players.
I got a question in terms of going to college. I feel like I needed college. You know, I feel like I was immature going into college, and college helped mature me. Those 2 years were very vital for me, and just, you know, becoming a better basketball player, becoming a more focused basketball player, tuning up my raw talents with Coach O. But just talk to me about your college experience. You know, you got SEC Freshman Player of the Year. You got to the Elite Eight, which is tough to do. You know, I don't care what people say.
Yeah,
like, you got to get there, especially Arkansas. You were the first big recruit coming since Bobby Portis.
Yep.
So, you know, why Arkansas, and how do you feel that, you know, 8 months of college helped you in any way?
Yeah. I feel like the biggest benefits that came from going to college wasn't even necessarily on the court. Although those are obviously a big difference. But going to Montverde also gave me a head start on being in college. I've been away from my parents. I've been away. But people don't really think about that, and a lot of people go through it when they get to college. You thinking that you're dealing with the stresses of college ball and homework and this and that, but a lot of it is that you're not going home to see your mama every night.
Right.
Like you out here now, to where if you have a bad day in practice, you got a bad day in class, you got to go home, look at yourself in the mirror, deal with it, and go back out there tomorrow.
Yep.
So just those small little lessons and things, figuring out how to be okay by yourself and operate like that, those are the lessons that I feel like came from college that prepared me to be a millionaire in the NBA. You know, that's a big jump coming from Little Rock, Arkansas in high school to living this lifestyle. So I definitely needed that median in between.
For sure.
And another thing that's pretty cool, you stayed local, you stayed close to home, like Dre said. And I mean, much snaps to you getting an Elite Eight, but also, you know, reigniting the feeling. You know, I think you're able to get Arkansas back cracking, and they're still reaping the fruits of, you know, what you've been able to do. I've seen Musselman and the team at Maui Invitational this season, so it's always cool to see the results of it all.
Yeah, I saw them out there doing their thing.
I would say you had your last answer leads me to my next question, in terms of coming from Little Rock, now you're a millionaire in the NBA, and we talk about suffering from our successes. You know, how has the transition been so far? Like, you got so much left in your life as an NBA player. Like, you know, all of us agree you're going to be here for a long time if you just stay who you are, and you're going to continue to get better. So, but the things that come with it, you know, we have 3 or 4 mandatory NBA meetings a year. You know, they talk about, you know, drugs, sex, the financial side of it, you know, your mental state of just navigating the NBA life. How has life changed for you on that side, in terms of all the celebrity we get now, all the money we get now, and then how are you dealing with, maybe it's family, maybe it's new people you meet, just kind of how you're dealing with the life people don't see? Because everybody sees us hoop, and everybody sees us traveling, everybody sees us laughing and tweeting and Instagramming, but they don't see that dark side. You know, how have you been adjusting to that, and like, who's been like your foundation to help you go through it all?
Yeah. I feel like, I'm talking to Rich, he says it a lot, but when black,
I'm talking about Rich Paul.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. When young black people make it out of that situation, a lot of times we have this survivor's guilt.
Yes.
To where it feel like I was chosen and I'm lucky to be here and I got this, so now I need to help everybody out. I need to be the man. I need to fix every problem and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of a mindset that you got to be aware of. Not saying don't look out, not saying, but just be aware that you have that feeling.
Yes.
And
yes.
And just knowing that that in itself, that's one thing, but it's just so many different things that you don't really expect. And for me, I always thought once you get rich, once you get famous, then you won. Like you good. Like you figured it out. But there's some comfort in that because all that says, okay, now I got meaning. Now I got reason to do what I'm doing, to work hard every day and do all that because I'm trying to get rich and famous.
Right.
But then when you get that, not all the way rich, not all the way famous, obviously, but once you get enough of that, you realize, you start looking around and it's not perfect. It's what happened. It's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But now it's now you kind of like at a stalemate and you just got to figure out what's next and looking for the meaning and things and all of that. So that's when you get in your mind. But I've been able to, obviously find different motivations and now you see it from a clear lens because you got that out the way. Mm-hmm. And now you start to see what's really going on here. Why you really doing that? And it's pushed me back to family a lot more.
Yeah.
Because everybody once you get out of your house and you think you want to explore and be different and nobody can tell you nothing. But that's kind of pulled me back. So that's probably been the biggest thing to get me through it and keep me going. Probably family.
For sure, that's dope. And unless you got some ET, Evan had a big moment, from the pod in terms of, he was upset that we had KD on our team. But talk about how we just run a real championship and we didn't have a cheat code, but we went out there and took one. What was it like? Your first year in the NBA, you're NBA champion, and tell me what it was like, that feeling. How has it been, and how do you think it'll shape you going forward? Because
you have to avoid the Pat McCall syndrome. Okay. So like when it comes down to it, you won a championship, you're very, very talented. You have a great future ahead of you. But then at the same time, like, don't let the environment get you too crazy to realize who and what you know what I mean? Who and what you are. You go back home, you're a hometown hero, and it might be somebody piping you up to say you don't need Steph or whoever else anymore. You can go on and really win a championship and do great things. You know what I'm saying? But Patrick can win elsewhere.
Yeah, and actually, I meant to say this on the last question too, but I feel like success can be one of your biggest distractions or challenges because Eric Thomas, he was doing a speech and he was saying an alligator fierce can kill a lion with his bare mouth.
Right.
But a person can kill it with his hands after he eats. Because once he eats, he's paralyzed for like, I don't know how long.
Mm-hmm.
So just that mentality, knowing that, okay, you got this success, let your guard down.
Right.
And that's how it go. That's natural. That's how people operate. Mm-hmm. So really that's me saying, okay, yeah, we won the championship. I'm happy. I appreciate that. But we all know I can do more. I can be more active. I can be more a part of the team than I was obviously then.
Mm-hmm.
And just not getting too complacent and feeling like I really did something. You know, obviously we did. I played, we won the championship, but be realistic.
Yep, for sure.
I like that.
And are you happy with with our way of winning this past season?
Bro, I was happy with every single part of how y'all won. Like,
I was watching the one where y'all was going at it about that too.
Nah, but I'm just saying, but like we sitting here and it's like, are you happy? Like, no, dog, like 4 of the top 20 players. What is that, bro?
No. I'm with you, and I wanted to get this. I wanted to get this off my chest too. People don't understand, kind of just how other ball players may think, and that's just your competitive nature coming out. And I also want to let certain people know, like ET, my brother too. So watch how y'all be talking. I just want to get out the way. Don't get too comfortable with me talking crazy about my brother. I just wanted to put that out there.
No, for sure. But much love to, obviously your championship caliber and everything you've done. And as an individual, the interview has definitely been fun. And, seeing how you think, I think you're going to be successful for years to come. So it'll be fun watching you and you know, watching your development. So, you know, thanks for being on the show today, for real.
So appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah, keen to.